our final guest is a children's author as well, Angela Dalton, and she has two amazing books that are more recent. She has more than two, but two of them really came to my attention. And so, Angela, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm honored to be on here. So thank you so much.
Well,
I'm going
thank
to
you
say
for
I'm
being here.
nervous. I'm so nervous. I've learned that I just have to call out the feeling that I'm feeling, so then I can act like a normal person.
Oh, well, there's no pressure. There's no pressure on this show. So it's a conversation. It's just like being at your friend's house with some wine and just talking.
Well, if
That's
I
what it
could have brought wine, this would be a whole different
is.
conversation. Oh, you got yours. Oh, see. I
I
missed the memo. I missed the
She had
memo.
wine with her, but I know she does
Just
drink
wait for the
wine,
show
like to
to
wind
end.
down. I know, but I didn't know she had some right there. So
Well, I
anyway,
have
I
thoroughly.
can't do wine on this show because I am a teetotaler and a lightweight, and I could drink like about four sips, and then I might say anything. So I don't do it.
Well, I've
But
really enjoyed the conversation so much. I almost
uh,
forgot that it was my turn next because I've just enjoyed the last two conversations that y'all have had. So, I'm
oh,
really excited to be talking to you too.
Oh,
okay.
well, we're
Well,
excited to have you. It's your turn now, girl.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So tell us about Angela Dalton and who she is and what motivates her.
Oh, wow, that could be a really loaded question. Currently I live in Oakland, California, but I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
I moved to Oakland in 2016, so I've been here 10 years. It'll be 10 years in August, actually. And in a previous life, I was a digital marketer. I was a digital producer of kid games for different television networks like um, Adult Swim and Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. and any television network that made animated television shows. I worked at a company where we made online games and activities to support those shows. And that's really kind of how I got into children's literature because I learned a lot from reading story Bibles, like seeing how they put shows together, how they created character arcs, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I did back in Minneapolis. And I was also a content strategist too, for a large corporation who will stay unnamed because I'm trying to wash the filth off myself from that spirit. But
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
I know how that can be with some experiences. You need washing and almost a baptism.
right, well, Dr. Rhonda, you were talking about doing this book about Black women in leadership roles. So I'm like, if you want to interview me, I got stories. But luckily, I was able to escape and move to California. And ironically, with having all this tech background, I could not find a job to save my life when we moved here. And my husband asked me, what do you feel like? What's something you always wanted to do? And I said, I always wanted to write a children's book. And he was like, you should do that. And so he made it seem so easy. And so I had an idea for a book that was about a grandmother teaching her grandchild that they will always be connected no matter what the skyscape is. And so I wrote this book and didn't know what to do with it. Ended up that a friend of mine's wife was a publisher at a self-publishing press, and they helped me learn how to publish my own book. And that was kind of how it all started. It's called If You Look Up to the Sky. And it got a Kirkus star review, which I was really surprised about. I was not expect. I didn't even, I'm going to just be honest with you, I didn't even know what a Kirkus star was when it happened. I told a friend of mine about it, and she's like, "You got a star review," and I'm like, "Is that good?"
You become auntie.
Yeah. I had no idea. So, and so that was a really wonderful but exhausting experience of self-publishing my first book. But I learned a lot about the business of publishing and distribution and promotion. Definitely promotion. Learned a lot about that, which I think helped me when I decided I wanted to be more traditionally published. And so I wrote manuscripts. I joined a lot of amazing organizations like 12 by 12 Picture Book Challenge, who I tell anybody if they want to get into writing children's books, do the 12 by 12 Picture Book Challenge. And had 3 to 5 publishable manuscripts and got an agent. And she and I together published 4 books together and an early reader. And so that's where I'm here today.
Oh, okay. Now, it's interesting that you went to California with a tech background and you couldn't get a job, and that's supposed to be like the tech universe of, you know, of the universe, like of the world.
Yeah.
One of the most tech jobs.
I'm going to
And
take it as the universe and my ancestors protecting me and telling me this is what you need to do now.
well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's true. Sometimes when we miss opportunities that we think we should have, it's really doors opening in other places that we wouldn't pursue if we walked into that traditional role of tech,
Yeah.
um, or whatever the role may be. So, and it's good that you had a supportive husband that was willing to, help you.
I really think that anybody who wants to get into an industry like publishing or even entertainment, it's so important to have that foundational net of, supporters. Because it's hard, and especially writing, as you both know, it's such a solitary
Yes,
job.
it's solitary.
Yeah, and so, you sometimes don't know if you're doing, am I doing the right thing? Is this good? Things like that. And so I attribute a lot of my success to my husband being that supportive and just, keeping me going and saying like, just keep going, you're learning. That was a big thing for me was that I knew I was like learning something new and giving myself the grace to learn it because I didn't know it, that it was okay. Um, and so I really feel like, for anybody to be successful in whatever they're doing, it's important to have that foundation. It's important to have that base of people who believe in you.
It is that support is very important. And not having support, well, it's rare that someone in your life, especially a spouse or partner, is neutral about what you're doing. Because being neutral is the same thing as not supporting you. So either they're supportive or they're not supportive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so um, having someone who's not supportive is very difficult. And I went through that in a brief first marriage. It's very hard, um,
Mm.
because you don't know. Well, it's just you have to still make a living, and then you have to have home. And if it's not working, it neither one of them's going to work well. So
That part.
that's just great that you had that support. So tell us about the 2 books of yours that really came to my mind were I had it on my screen. Oh, To Boldly Go, the book about Uhuru,
Yes. I've
Star
read it.
Trek. So you have a copy of that. And I wanted to know, how did you get that? How did you sell that? And what made you think to do that
Well, they just say write what you like, what you know. And I was a trekker ever since I was 8 years old.
one? Oh,
And
okay.
I was such a nerd. I was such a black nerd when I still am a black nerd.
So you're a
Um,
blurred. It's
I'm
called
a
blurred.
blurred.
Is it? Is
Called a
that
blurred, a
true?
black nerd, a
Is that
blurred.
true, Rondo? You just made that up just now.
No,
No,
she did. It's true.
it's a real thing.
Oh, okay.
It is. Yes, yes. I am a
Okay.
nerd. I'm a blurred. I'm a blurred.
Okay.
And so, because of Nichelle Nichols, I mean, she was so influential in so many people's lives. But for
Yes.
me, as a kid, and especially as a black girl, to see this woman who had agency, who had expertise, she was up there on the Starship Enterprise with everybody, they would go to her like, "Hey, we need communication." She's like, "Hailing frequencies open, sir." She had authority and so much power that we hadn't seen in anywhere from any black actor during that time when it came out. Now, of course, I was watching reruns when this came up, but it still was very unprecedented to see a black woman in that capacity. So it had a tremendous effect on me to say, oh, I can be smart. I can be in a position of power. I can be the person that people have to come to for information. And I really took that to heart. She also opened up my love for space. When I was a child, my dad would take me. I lived in Chicago at the time. My parents moved around a lot. My dad was in the government, but we lived in Chicago for a short time. And I would always make him take me to the planetarium. He got so sick of that planetarium. He started calling other family members to be like, can you please take her? Because I can't anymore. But it just had opened up such a profound love for like space exploration. And so I just remember that as a kid, and it opened up my love for science fiction and fantasy and all of these things. And so when I got to the point of writing children's books, like I said, everybody says the best advice is to write what you know. And I just could never forget like how impressed upon me she was. And no, that's not actually true. The way that it came up to me was, this is what happened. I was watching Drunk History, and Drunk History,
Show. I love
yes,
that show.
is that a great show?
It's an awesome show. I wish it came on more often.
I know. They're so
Yeah,
fun.
I don't
But
know
did you
what
see,
y'all are
wait,
talking about.
but did you see the one with Raven Simone playing Uhura, and they did the reenactment of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his influence on Uhura, or I'm sorry, on Nichelle Nichols playing Uhura?
I feel like I may have, but I might need to watch it again. It's on YouTube, isn't it?
It is, yes. Watch
No,
it.
what?
No,
Okay, okay,
Gwen is
okay.
lost. Gwen is lost.
Time out. What is drunk history and where is it?
Okay, so this is what
What is
happens.
it? Just give me an
You
encapsulation.
get no, you get very, very smart historians, people who really know history,
Okay,
and they have to take a certain number of shots and drinks. They actually get really drunk, and then
okay.
after they get drunk, they tell a historical story. So in this case, the historian told the story of how Martin Luther King had an effect on Uhura,
Hmm.
about how they met.
Okay,
And
now who are the people getting drunk? Is it different people every time?
yes,
Yes.
different
Oh,
people.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And where is this drunk history? Where can one find it on streaming or you said it's on YouTube?
You
YouTube.
can you can find it on YouTube. I think it used to come on the Comedy Network or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, you
but
learn something.
you watch it one time and you're going to be
You're
hooked.
Okay,
hooked.
It's
You're hooked.
okay.
they're really really smart. They know their history, and the stories they tell are 100% true, but because they're so drunk, they just tell them in the most hilarious way.
Now, are they actually drunk?
I mean,
And
yeah.
do you know? I mean, do you know for sure that they're drinking, or is
Can't really be that drunk, but some of them I think are really drunk.
drunk? Okay, okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. Okay, I'm gonna go on YouTube and pull it up, and I'll have a report for you. Not next week because that's the award show, but the week after I have a report.
I'm tuning in because I want to know the report. I want to hear the report. Um,
Okay,
but it,
so the drunk history.
yeah,
You saw an
so
episode where they talked about that, and then
but I had never heard that story before. I had never heard the
okay,
story about how Dr. Martin Luther King had this impact on Nichelle Nichols. And the impact was that she was ready to leave the Star Trek show because of all the racism that she was experiencing on the lot. And with a lot of the TV executives, like they weren't giving her mail, even though she was getting all this fan mail. She was getting more fan mail than like anybody else on the show, and they were keeping it from her because they didn't want her to know how successful her character was.
mm-hmm.
And so I saw this drunk history. I'm like, okay, I need to research this because, again, like in the household that I grew up in, there was like three people. It was like, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Jesus. And I'm like, why have we never heard the story before? And as I started doing research, I just realized, she had lived such an incredible life that I don't think a lot of people have been privy to. And then she was also so impactful, not just on television history or American history, but also in American space exploration history. Because of Nichelle Nichols, that she is the reason why we had a diverse, and I say had, past tense, a diverse astronaut program. Because before she was actually asked by NASA to try to recruit candidates of color and women when they had created their first orbital shuttle, the space shuttle. And that opened it up where anybody could be an astronaut. And NASA had tried to recruit people, but because they had such horrible, discriminatory hiring practices, nobody trusted them. And so Nichelle Nichols was like, okay, I will do this for you, but if I come back with all these candidates and you still hire white men, I'm coming after you. And she meant that too. And so she went out and she found 8,000 candidates. And because of her, that's why we have Dr. Mae Jemison, who's the first Black woman astronaut, why we had Sally Ride, the first white woman astronaut, why we had the space shuttle, the Challenger crew, which included Robert McNair. So, I don't think people really understand how fundamental she was to space exploration for the United States.
So were you able to convey some of that, even though it's in a children's book? Were you able to
I
let
was. So
children know, plant those seeds in there?
I was. So if
Is
you
it a
read the book,
rhyming book? Is it a rhyming book or
it's
just a storyline?
it's just a storyline. So it's a picture book biography.
Okay.
It's written in prose, and it delivers the story to children, I hope, in a very accessible way about who she was, what impact she had on American television, American history television. Again, when she was Lieutenant Uhura, there had been no other Black actress who had played any other character than someone who was in service of
Right.
white people.
Hmm.
And so, but at the end of the story, in the back of the book, there's back matter, and that's where I talk more about like, okay, after the show, this is what she also did, which is talking about NASA and space exploration and all of that. So it's really fun when I go to school visits and I talk to kids about this. Because first of all, I think the first thing that blows their mind is that there's only three television channels at one point.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're just like, wait, what? And then,
CBS,
ABC,
NBC,
and
ABC.
CBS.
That was
yes,
it. That
yes.
was it.
And that if you missed the show that night, you were like,
It,
You
it was
missed
gone
it. They
"Say-"
forever. You just
recorded it.
missed it.
You had to be home when the show aired.
yes.
Otherwise, that was
Somebody
it.
pointed out that when we were talking about the Michael Jackson movie, we
Mhm.
were talking about Motown 25, and when Motown 25 came on, the streets were empty. Everybody was at home watching Motown 25. You couldn't miss
Yes.
that night. You couldn't record it.
Right. There was
Yes.
no
Hang on
DVR,
again.
no VCR, none of the R's, none of the recording devices. There was nothing. You had to watch it at the time. And additionally, most homes only had one television.
That part.
So
We were all in front of the
yeah,
one TV.
everybody was in front of the one TV. And the parents decided what you could see, not the kids. The parents were in control, and hopefully you got to see the shows you wanted to see. But I'm not a Trekkie. I never watched even one episode of Star Trek. My husband was a Trekkie, and so he loved the show, and he still watches like some of the old episodes. But I do want to know if you know, because her role was so groundbreaking. How did how did she even get the role? I mean, for them to even
Mm.
create the role and then say we're going to put a Black woman in it. How did that transpire? Did you were you able to find that out?
I was, and thank you for asking that question. Nobody has ever asked me that question. and it's really interesting. So I think the first place to start, I'm going to try to do this quickly because I see what time is. So the first place to start is like, so it starts with Gene Roddenberry. He was a writer in the 60s for a lot of Western shows and science fiction shows. That's what was really popular at the time. And then what also happened was he had an idea for a cowboy show in space. So that was Star Trek. And sorry, let me go back one. He was working on another show called The Lieutenant, which was about the military. And that show was also groundbreaking because it was the first time that there was a black male character. He was in the military. He was still kind of in service, but he had a wife. So it was the first time like a black family had been portrayed. And Gene Roddenberry wrote that episode that had the episode with a black family, black husband and wife. And Nichelle Nichols played the wife. So that's how she met
Oh,
Gene Roddenberry. And they became friends. And when he started this idea for this cowboy and space show, he had asked her if she'd be interested in creating a character. So she actually created the character of Uhura with him. She came up with the name Uhuru, meaning freedom in Swahili. And she came up with like, she was a communications commander. She had this team of communications experts beneath her that she commanded. And so that's really how she got into that role because of her friendship with Gene Roddenberry.
wow. Well, it was interesting that he was open to doing it because it was
Right.
really truly groundbreaking at the time.
It really was. And part of it was because of his, so I don't know if a lot of people know this either, that the only way that Star Trek was actually picked up as a TV show was because of Desi Arnaz Jr. and Lucille Ball. And they had so much power in television that Lucille Ball actually went to I think it was Paramount at the time, and said, "You need to put this show on. You need to greenlight this show." And they backed it. I think they even put money against it. And so Gene Roddenberry was friends with them, and they being, a multi-ethnic couple, he was open to like he'd served in the military. He had served alongside a diverse group of people, so he was open to being around people of color because of his background. And so I think that was pretty much kind of fundamental of how that all of that happened.
Wow. Now, you mentioned she was in something else. I don't recall seeing her in anything else other than Star Trek, but she may have. Did she have a career after Star Trek?
After Star Trek ended, she went back to performing. So she was actually a performer first, meaning singing and dancing. She had gotten her start at 16 with the legendary band leader Duke Ellington. So that's really how she got her start. So her background, so after it ended, she went back to, singing in clubs and touring around the world. And it was, maybe about 10 years later that she was in a movie, and the movie was during the blaxploitation era. Um,
Okay. Which
Very
movie was
different. I don't know the name of it, and I'm a children's author, so I'm going to continue maintaining.
it?
But
Okay.
if you,
In that case, man, stay in my space.
I'm going to stay in my space. But if you Google Nichelle Nichols blaxploitation film, it will come up for you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm doing it right now. Michelle Nichols, blaxploitation.
It's that wine. It's that glass of wine.
For blaxploitation film Truck Turner as the character Dorinda. This is considered her most prominent role in the genre.
No, I did. That's one I didn't see. That's not like one of the top 10. There's a hierarchy in the blaxploitation.
She was with Isaac Hayes, so she was up there.
Oh, okay. But the Truck Turner movie it wasn't like Shaft or
Right.
one of the ones that got the most or Superfly. I didn't see any of them. I was an
Oh,
adult when I saw
this
it.
trailer has Isaac Hayes with his shirt off shooting a gun.
But he did some acting and he did some amazing singing during that period. Other
Mhm.
than the theme from Shaft, he did a lot of singing. And he was also, I know you're laughing around there about his having his shirt off. He was also in the movie. Uh, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's the one with Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda, where she hits the lottery and she's a waitress, and they end up getting married at
Oh,
the end.
and like,
Isaac Hayes is the homeless, is the reporter that
is it the Quentin
told,
Tarantino movie?
was it
Foxy
what?
Brown? Foxy Brown?
No,
Oh,
no, this was more
no.
recent, much more recent.
Oh, okay.
This was like in the 90s, I think. Nicolas Cage, Bridget Fonda, not Jane Fonda, Bridget. Anyway, it's a cute movie. It's a rom-com. It's really cute.
Okay.
Um,
I'll
yeah,
watch that if you
and
watch.
Isaac Hayes is in there, not singing, but as a reporter, and he plays a homeless guy, and he has some, a decent role in there. Anyway, we are at the end of our time. So,
That's a
Angela,
really good way to wrap it up.
this has been a blast, and we didn't really get to talk about your Juneteenth book, but she has a
Yeah,
book on,
but I
about
went ahead and put the link up anyway.
okay as well.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
but I will say Juneteenth is next month, so go ahead and get Angela's book anyway. Freedom Celebration,
yes,
Juneteenth Party Level.
yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was fun. You're right, it was. I wish I had my glass of wine, but this was very fun. Thank you so
But
much. I
we're
appreciate
just
you
gonna
both.
have you back on the show because this was a fun episode, and we really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I would love to come back anytime.
Okay, take
Okay,
care.
bye.
Have a
Bye.
great night.